Mabuhay, kamusta kayo? Welcome to another video. So we're going to be pollinating some Haworthia today. Going to cross some and hopefully create our own hybrids. Got my Tsukikage here on the left and Hikuma on the right. Should make some very interesting looking hybrids if we're successful with the pollination. Also got this Pygmaea asperula on the left and Retusa gigantea on the right. So we'll try and cross these two as well. Quite similar to each other, but could still make some interesting looking hybrids. So first let's take a quick look at the anatomy of a Haworthia flower. Here is the anther, the parts the pollen are attached to, the stigma, which is the part you want to get the pollen onto for a successful pollination, the pistil, stamens, and the ovary. This is the part that will swell up if we've had a successful pollination. So you can pollinate any two Haworthia with one another. You do need two plants that aren't related for pollination to work. And as far as I know, you can't pollinate Haworthia with their own flowers. Meaning if I was just to go in and out of the flowers on this Tsukikage, then pollination isn't going to work. Breeders will usually select two plants with nice markings on the windows or nice leaf shape and colours. And hopefully if pollination is successful, you can end up with a very nice looking hybrid that has traits from both plants. I have read online that traits from the father plant will be the most dominant. Not sure how true that is, but if we're successful with the pollination on both plants, sow the seeds and hopefully have them germinate, in a year or two we'll be able to compare them. So pollination on Haworthia can be a little tricky and fiddly. I have tried several times in the past without success. Standard method is simply using a brush to go in and out of the flowers. I bought this brush especially for pollinating Haworthia, but it's still not really fine enough to get into the flowers. Another technique is removing all the petals to expose the stigma and taking some pollen with some tweezers and putting it directly onto the stigma. I've tried this technique before without success as well, but I have seen videos where it does work for other people. Removing all the petals and exposing the inside parts of the flower can also dry the pollen and stigma out before it has a chance to take. I just find it really fiddly to do as well. So a new technique I recently found out about is using a single cat's whisker to pollinate the flowers. I found this out from Sandy's Succulent Garden on Instagram. This is the technique she uses and has great success with it. I'll link her Instagram page in the description below. She grows some amazing looking plants. She sells plants and seeds as well, and I've actually got some Haworthia seeds coming from her soon, which I'm really excited about. I'll do a separate video on that when they arrive. So I don't have access to a cat's whisker, but I'm going to use the next best thing. What I've done here is taken one single bristle from a paintbrush and glued it on the end of a wooden skewer at a slight angle so it better matches the internal shape of the flower. And using a pollination tool like this for Haworthia actually makes sense, as they're pollinated by insects in habitat that get their proboscis right down inside the flower. So we'll take our single bristle and begin pollinating. I've read it's best to take the pollen from newer flowers then transfer that to an older flower. Also afternoon pollination is apparently the best time to do it, but I've been doing it several times a day. Pollinating these flowers this way is so much easier than messing about peeling petals off. Getting right down into the flower as far as it can go and just moving it around inside the flower. We've got some pollen on there, hopefully you can see that. Then we'll take this pollen and go to one of the older flowers on the other plant. Again, same thing, as far in as we can go and then just gently twist it around. Then back to the other plant, hopefully we've got some pollen from that one that comes into contact with the stigma. And we'll just keep repeating this process until we know if we've been successful or not. So as you just saw, you'll know when pollination is successful. It doesn't take long for the seed pod to begin to swell. When it's not been successful, the flowers will dry up quickly and come away very easily. Now Haworthia seed pods are like aloe and gasteria seed pods. When they're ready they will burst open and seeds will fly everywhere. So to prevent us losing any seeds, I've added some sticky tape around the seed pods, sealed at the bottom but leaving the top part open so air can still get inside. This helps with preventing the pods to burst too violently, and even if they do, the seeds will just stick to the tape. You can use some fine netting around the seed pods as well, as stocking, or I've even seen people put a whole flower stalk inside a plastic bottle to catch all the seeds. So it's been about a month now and some seeds are ready to harvest. You can see here on the Hakuma that a pod has burst open, but because we used the tape, some of the seeds have stuck to it. Another pod here that's split open. This is Arachnoidea variety Sitata, which I've managed to cross with a Limifolia, so the offspring from this could look quite interesting. The Limifolia itself didn't set seed, unfortunately. Apparently that's quite a difficult Haworthia to get to set seed for whatever reason. Got several seed pods on this Retusa gigantea that was crossed with the Pygmaea asperula, and these are the ones we're going to harvest now. So we've got 4 seed pods ready on the Retusa at the moment. Still has a lot more seed pods on it, but because Haworthia produce multiple flowers over the course of 2 or 3 weeks, they're not all going to ripen at the same time. So let's see how many seeds we get from these 4 pods. Haworthia seeds come out nice and dry as well, so no messy pulp to worry about. Six seeds from that one, quite small seeds from Haworthia, but not as small as some other cacti and succulent seeds are. The next one, I'm going to lose count now. Decent amount from that one. Not so many seeds in that pod. It can vary quite a bit. Some pods will have just a few, while others I've heard can have up to 20 seeds. Not too many in that one either, but not a bad amount so far from 4 pods. I think there's 24 or 25 there. So I'm just going to fold the tissue over, tip the seeds into a container. And then into these storage pots I use for my seeds. And of course remembering to label them and the date of harvest. And when you're making hybrids and writing out the names you start with is the mother plant, in other words the plant the seeds came from. When I harvest the seeds from the other plant, the label will read Pygmaea variety asperula X Retusa gigantea. Now I'm not going to sow these seeds right away. I've heard that it's actually better to let them rest and store them for at least a month. Apparently you'll get better germination rate. The same is apparently also true for aloe and gasteria seeds as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this Haworthia pollination video. Massive thank you to Sandy for telling me about this pollination technique. So much easier than messing around peeling petals off. And as you can see by the amount of seed pods that are developing, it's a very successful way of getting your Haworthia to set seed. So let me know in the comments if you're going to try this pollination technique for your Haworthia. I'd pretty much given up trying to pollinate them before doing it this way because it just wasn't working for me. And creating my own Haworthia hybrids is something I've wanted to do for about 2 years now. You can end up with some very nice unique looking plants, and I can't wait to eventually see what the Hakuma and the Tsukikage ones look like. So stay tuned for a future seed sowing and germination video of these seeds. In about a month's time we'll begin sowing them. We'll be nicely into spring by that time as well, and I can show you the total amount of seeds I got from all the plants. So thank you all very much for watching. I hope this video has been helpful and informative and encourages you to pollinate your Haworthia plants and make some awesome hybrids. If we get some really nice unique looking ones, I'll let you choose the cultivar names. I'll do a little competition or something when the time comes. So thank you all again for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. Hit that notification bell as well so you know every time I upload a new video. You all be safe and well, and I shall see you next time. Salamat po paalam. Bye for now.